The Monday, February 12, 2024 regular meeting of the Paris City Council is hereby called to order at 5:30 p.m. For this meeting, there is a quorum of the City Council present. Item number 2 and 3, Mr. Jean Anderson will deliver the invocation. The United States Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Package. Please rise.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you again for every blessing that you've given us today. We just thank you for your guidance and direction as we've gone about our business. We pray for the council tonight that you'd give them wisdom and understanding to make the right decisions. We pray for our city, our state, our nation, Father, that we might be exactly where you would have us to be. We pray for those, Father, who stand in need. For I ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Item number 4, the Citizens Forum. Persons desire to address the council must limit their presentation to more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, and employees, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for Citizens Forum. If necessary, the City Council may convene an executive session under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any item of this agenda. The public forum is now open. If there is anyone who wishes to address the council, please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Paula Portugal. I live at 2020 38th Street Northeast. I'm here regarding the trash pickup. First of all, I want to thank the Mayor Pro Tem, who was very helpful in coming out in my mother's neighborhood and seeing what a horrible situation it is. And we've had some interesting developments since then, but we've had no more communication, and we've had no sign of that there's any more plan to do what is needing to be done. The communication has failed as far as people who are disabled and need help. We were told, not by the city and not by the company, but just through hearsay, we learned that if you are disabled, you must get a permission slip from your doctor. We got that on Friday, February 2nd, scanned it. It was and included all the information, my mother's name, her address, and the letter stating that she could not pick up her this cart and roll it wherever we're supposed to roll it. We haven't learned that yet either. Not everyone takes the, we sent this email to the company, and I asked for confirmation that it was received. I haven't received that yet. And I have also called. I spoke to a woman named Melissa, and she was going to call me back, and I'm waiting, but she was very helpful, so I'm confident that she will call me back. Not everyone subscribes to the Paris News. Not everyone has a computer. Not everyone listens to the radio. How do other cities communicate with all of their citizens? There are several ways. One that I've experienced is a program called Encode, I-N-C-O-D-E. It is your water bill, but it comes in an envelope, and you have a way that you can send messages and information to your citizens. Might perhaps be something you check into. I think that we are striving for transparency and accountability. And that would be one way that you would have that, because this rollout has shown us that we don't have that yet. With good planning between the company and the city staff, many of the questions and concerns that you might hear tonight from some other people will be fixed. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Borges.
I am Thomas Ballou, and I live at 4130 Primrose Lane. In addition to issues that you have heard before, I think, the past week, I'll say first that the personnel on the cards trucks are wonderful, very polite. They've been helpful as they could be. But we don't know what day our trash pickup is. The map, which is on the city website, shows that it's Friday. On Thursday, they showed up to pick up. I called. I don't get mad very easily, but I did. I called Cards. She said pickup is Thursday. I said, I'm looking at the map. It shows Friday. She said the map may be a little bit off, but I can put in a courtesy pickup call. So Friday, and then one of the neighbors asked the driver on Thursday, what day is our pickup supposed to be? They said Thursday. On Friday, they came and picked up again. Another neighbor asked the driver, what day is our pickup? He said Friday. So I don't think any of us care whether it's Thursday or Friday. We'd like to know which one. For myself, I'm having to keep my cart on my front porch because I cannot get it through my front yard to somewhere to put it. Some of us are thinking of rolling it from our garage down the alley to 42nd Street. But I don't know if it's okay to put it on the street in front of the curb or if we have to put it on the grass behind the curb. So thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, sir.
Larry Finley, 4119 Primrose. I'd like to ask a question. How has this problem been solved in other cities? I'm sure this company has other customers. What did you do to accommodate senior citizens who are not able to handle this heavy cart in other cities?
Thanks, sir.
Well, I think most of you know who I am, but I'm going to say, in case there's someone here that doesn't, I'm the mother, 97 years old, and let me tell you what happened Friday afternoon late when I tried to move the dumpster back into my garage. I got my walker, not the cane, the walker, and got out to the curb and tried to move it in, and I couldn't lift the thing even empty. So I took my walker and I rolled it back about 3 feet. I came forward and got this thing and moved it back to meet my walker. That's how I got it into my garage. Primrose is not the only street in this town that's got problems. You may think it is because Primrose is showing up, but a lot of people are moving back to Paris because it's roots. They're retiring and moving home. And old people can't handle this, believe me. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you.
Hello, I'm James from Paris, Texas Delivery. I presented to you guys my proposal for a citywide event. You guys got that? but we're in the process of putting together an event structured around the entire city of Paris, focused on Children's Day and community involvement and outreach for the community. And we didn't feel that we would be able to put on a event of this magnitude without the city council being involved with local law enforcement and things like that. So I just request that we put this on a future agenda so we can discuss.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you, sir. Is there anyone else? Okay, the citizens forum is now closed. Consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are approved by a single action of the council, with such approval applicable to all items appearing on the consent agenda. The council member may request any item to be removed from the consent agenda and consider it as a separate item. Does any member wish to remove an item from the consent agenda for discussion? Okay. If not, can I hear a motion to approve all items on consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Could you just send someone to see?
Catch him. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. Regular agenda, item number 9, convening an executive session pursuant to 551.071 of the Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney to receive legal advice for the city attorney about, 1, pending or contemplated litigation, and/or 2, on matters in which the duty of an attorney to her client under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with the chapter, to wit, City of Paris versus PRMC. We're going to have to table this item until February 26th, so I will hear a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 11, conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on a resolution approving a residential tax abatement agreement with Invest Fannin LLC as part of the 5 and 5 Housing Infill Redevelopment Program for Gibbons Brand Addition Block 16, Lot 5A. Gibbons Brandon Addition Block 16, Lot 5A, and Lovett Addition Block 281, Lot 6, pursuant to the Texas Government Code, Chapter 2303, and the Texas Tax Code, Section 312.2011. Mr. Vaughn?
Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, good evening. City Attorney Stephanie Harris will be presenting the 5 and 5 agreement, which she's presented with Invest Fannin LLC. The developers are Steve and Zach Bergenholtz, and Zach is present with us this evening, and we'll invite him to come up and answer any questions that you may have after Stephanie presents her agreement. The agreement involves 3 parcels. 2 are on 17th Street Southeast, and 1 is on 15th Street Northeast. And this project or agreement calls for construction of 1 duplex, 2 housing units on 17th Street Southeast location, and 8 townhomes on the 15th Street Northeast location for a total of 10 dwelling units. Staff we've had pre-development meetings with both Steve and Zach, and we are working together to finalize the details on both development sites on all 3 lots, specifically the 15th site. There should be a diagram in front of you where there are townhouses on 15th Street. If you look to the left, there you'll see units 1 through 8. That will be what could potentially be phase 1 of a phase 2 situation. So that's the section of this 15th Street section that we're looking at. And now I'll let Stephanie talk about the agreement.
There's not much else to say about that, other than there's a small change from the agreement that you had in your packet based on the fact that there was some confusion by how the application was filled out, that the one in your packet talked about 5 duplexes, and as Rob told you it's actually 1 duplex and 8 townhouses. So that's been corrected. And what is in the signature file, should you approve the agreement, reflects the 1 duplex and the 8 townhouses. This is not one of the agreements that requires transfer of any trustee properties. These properties were already owned by the developer. The agreement contains incentives under Chapter 380, which relate to permitting and review and sewer tap fees, and then the residential tax abatement. As set forth in the program, the property is within the zone, and all the incentives are what is set forth in the program guidelines and criteria.
At this point, I'm going to ask Mr. Zach Bergenholtz to come up, and he can present any information, or you could ask him any questions. Zach?
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Zach Bergenholtz with Invest Fannin LLC. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. Invest Fannin has been involved in construction since 1994. We're a father and son team, and we've been involved in commercial construction, new home builds, and remodeling and land development. We have been acquiring privately owned land for development in Paris and are actively purchasing additional properties. This morning, we received direction on proceeding with 2 Lamar County trustee sites that would include 18 to 20 new units in West Paris on Northwest 7th Street. We're excited and committed to build in Paris and look forward to helping fill the void of needed homes. Our goal is to build 20 units in Paris this year and 50 additional units our following year. Today's discussion includes privately owned properties in Paris that we have purchased to build 10 dwelling units under the 5 and 5 program. Anticipate beginning construction in spring of 2024. The 17th Street Southeast project will be the first project that we work on. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. Please let me know if y'all have any questions.
Questions? I will now open up the public hearing and ask for anyone wishing to speak about this item to please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing. Is there any discussion?
Everything falls in within the parameters and specifications?
It does.
And staff is recommending the 5 and 5 agreement be awarded to Invest Fannin LLC as presented.
I'll just say, thanks for your investment in our community. We need more homes. So thank you. Yep.
Absolutely. Is there any further discussion? I'll hear a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Okay, motion carries 4-0. Item number 12, receive a presentation from CARS regarding the implementation of the residential trash collection. Staff. CARS.
Mayor Pro Tem Council, thank you for having me here tonight. I sent Scott outside to talk with the team, or with the group of people that came in earlier. I was hoping they'd stick around so we could kind of address some of these
I
things.
think they're still,
Yeah,
they're still out there.
Have a
I wish
meeting.
I wish they'd come in. That would
I think
be very helpful.
Yeah, I think he's going to cover it with them, but
Okay.
Yes, I sent Ed Wayne Samus and Scott's out there talking to me. Yeah, we'll see if we can't, it looks like some have stuck around, so we'll see if they can't come in. Yeah.
I think they said they're fine. It sounds like, anytime we start these new contracts, we tend to have some gaps, whether it be communication or just understanding the new process. And so a lot of that was last week, understanding the routes. We're training new drivers on the routes. We do have one former person who's, and a couple that are around this area that we were able to bring on that are very familiar with the city, but when you're driving the trucks that we have, you have to look out for low-hanging wires. I was joking with Grayson and Ed Wayne last week, we pick up trash at a cost, but we remove tree limbs for free. So it tends to happen on these streets, and I know that trees are great because they provide a lot of shade, but they can be a trash man's worst nightmare sometimes. So we are maneuvering through that and understanding where we can't go, and some of the alleyways that we're just becoming more familiar with that. So it'll progress as we go on. This week's already started off better than last Monday. started, and we're really looking forward to a lot more progress as we continue, and that'll come with time. So as we start to learn the routes a lot and have a little bit more frequency on them, we'll become a lot faster. Tonight, we should be done before we were last week, so. We are having, we brought in a third truck. We're going to continue with 3 trucks going forward. Right now, we have 2 trucks that are automated with the Corrado in the front, and that we'll add a third truck with that. Right now, we have 2 of those and 1 rear load truck. And that was just because of what we saw, some of the bulk and some of the larger items. Sometimes a rear load can be a little better for that. Our goal is to kind of get away from that from a safety standpoint to really eliminate a lot of that pushing and pulling and lifting. So we want to minimize that the best we can. Placement of carts has been kind of a topic of concern for us. We're going to educate a lot more on that. We're going to put some, I know that John's done a great job of communicating that and making sure that people understand where they should put their cart. Just driving through town today, I noticed it was a lot better than last week, but we still have some room for improvement. But we'll get there. We've been doing the same thing for a number of years, and now we're changing that. So there are going to be a lot of people that, trash is one of those things. It's the last thing you think about, first thing you see. So we understand that. We have the mindset that it's not, Rome wasn't built in a day, neither was the automated system. So we'll definitely continue to work on that progress and make sure that our team is, we've got a great group of men and women that are behind the scenes working hard to make sure that this gets picked up every day. And just the communication we've had with the city, thank you very much for your allowance of giving us that internal information and making sure that we do succeed. We appreciate that as well. So I guess I'll open this up for questions if you guys have any. Is concerning, listen to some of the concerns that came up earlier as far as communication. I'll circle back with our team to make sure that we are responding back with those requests as they come in. In the beginning, we get about 1,000 emails throughout the week, just depending on the traffic. If you bring weather into it, it adds up a little bit, but the service day is a big question. We did work with your team to make sure that if you pop your address into that search engine, that it will pop up your service day. We did have an issue last week where one of the routes on the Friday route got switched over to a Thursday. It was like 100 homes that got switched over on accident, but we got that corrected. And it sounds like he understands now what his day is. So unfortunately that happened, but we did get that corrected and we're back on track now. So but that GIS program is great. If anyone doesn't know where that's at, it's on our website, it's on your website. And all you have to do is type in your address and it'll show you exactly what your day is. So I'll open that up for questions. Any questions for me?
Any questions, comments?
I had just a couple. Sure. One, I want to say I appreciate y'all's patience in regards to kind of coming into our community and really rolling this program out. This is great. I will say the feedback that I've received from a lot of citizens is much of what you heard this evening with elderly population, those that are disabled. It's been kind of a tough transition. It's been a little bit of a challenge, but I think the communication aspect is the biggest thing that I want to make sure that we're able to address. And but I know you guys are trying and working hard. I mean, I'll be honest. I've not met many citizens that have been like super upset or like overly upset about anything. They've been just saying like we understand that this is a change and something that we're going to have to get used to as a community together. And so it's been more positive than I thought it would be, just to be truthfully honest, because you know how it is. When it comes to trash, people get pretty upset. And so, but overall, I think it went well. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys rolling out extra trucks to kind of catch up and not fall behind. Much of my district actually falls into Monday, which was kind of rough last Monday, and I know that was the first day. So even when holidays come around, it's that district that gets hit hard because holidays roll over onto Mondays, and then we get moved over. So I just appreciate everyone's patience on that. And then the big thing is I really want to try to utilize more of that communication aspect from council's perspective, because sometimes we have those one-off cases that are just unique. Right, like I was approached, I guess, on Thursday evening with some of the citizens that said, "Hey, our trash got picked up on Thursday. Luckily, we had it out on that that was supposed to be picked up on Friday. But I'm sure I'm glad that now that's been fixed and that things will go better. So talked to Mr. Path about this a lot this last week, and things seem like you guys are really trying to patch things up and get the communication gap flowing again. So I appreciate that, and that's really it.
We did a radio station, what was that, last week?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We crammed 9 people into one small room and talked trash, you know? It was great.
For anyone that might be watching, do you mind going over the process of what an elderly citizen can do to get their card picked up?
So I know in the first week, it's always probably the most difficult because they have to be able to call in, get that, basically give us the opportunity to understand that they are disabled and that they do qualify for front door service. And it's not something that, you know, the reason we have those parameters is to where we don't want everyone feeling like they can qualify for the front door service. We want to make sure that it's someone who is deserving of that, because if that's the case, we'll never get done throughout the day if we're picking up everyone's trash at their front door. So we understand that as I think we have over 100 now that have signed up for that service inside the city. And we have a list. Those have been uploaded into the system. So that first week, we did have a good number of them, but probably not all of them were captured. But as we progress, that'll go in real time. We'll be able to help them and facilitate those. It is not we definitely want to make sure we help out and make sure that they're not in any way hindered by that process. We want to help them with their trash. And most of the time, they're low generators anyways. They might have one bag. So we definitely appreciate that. It makes up for those houses that have about 30. So.
What's the process? So if they feel they're disabled and need that assistance, what do they do?
There's a couple different ways that they can do that. They can call us, they can email us, or through the city, they can get to us as well. We want to try to handle as much of that as we possibly can. So we'd rather them call us and communicate that to us. And I know that we field about 1,700 calls a day on an average in our call center. That fluctuates based on billing and weather. Here lately, that's all we've done is bill and have lots of weather. So we've had a lot of calls, but we do have a lot of different ways for them to get to us or reach us through the FAQs that we placed online. We'll continue to communicate the best we can in other ways. Right now, I got to be honest, the only ways that I know to communicate are through our flyers, which we did provide, and all that information was listed there. The flyers, we did give copies to the city, so we have them at Public Works and also at the Water Department. And then I think we even posted that online, and that's even on the page itself, if I'm not mistaken, Grayson. We have that listed there. So they can use that to call us or contact us to get listed onto those services if they need to. And if that doesn't work, I guess we can go back to the drawing board and try to figure out a different way. But maybe we do another radio station visit. I don't know. But
if anyone ever feels that they, for whatever reason, they're not consistent from cards, they can always continue to call our offices. And so we do have direct line communication with cards. And so obviously a lot of individuals did get through and got taken care of. And we have over 7,000 accounts. And so trying to process all that in 1 week is a bit tough. And so, but I'll just say, I know from staff standpoint with myself, Doug Harris, Ed Wayne Samus, and Michael Smith, I know we were very pleased with the communication we had with cards last week. I know they were working 11 o'clock at night. I was out there watching them at 11 o'clock at night. So we very much appreciative of the hard work those men were doing in those trucks those evenings. And I know working with Jason and Scott and so again, it was the first week. And it's a lot to try to get done right, but obviously we don't want to miss anyone's concerns. And so if someone does continue to have concerns, please either contact cards, or if that's not satisfied, contact our offices. We're going to continue to take those and try to get those processed for each individual person. I just want to commend Ed Wayne Samus. I mean, we took care of an individual Saturday morning. We had an individual who had concerns about not getting their trash can, and it was important that they get it immediately. And so Ed Wayne came in on his off hours and grabbed the can and brought it to that individual. So we're going to keep trying to cover all the issues as best we can.
I followed one of the trucks over at West Paris, I guess on Wednesday or Thursday, I don't remember what day. And I think it's some growing pains that we as citizens have to understand that, some folks had a pickup load of garbage and carpet and different things piled up out there, and understanding that, you know, you got your trash deal, and then we get, what, 3 cubic feet?
3 yards.
Or 3 yards, I'm sorry, of bulk. And I'm hoping maybe citizens will kind of understand that's why we're here today is, you know, we gotta, you know, there's a lot of folks that follow the rules, but then there's still a lot out there that aren't seeing that. And then I saw like placements of trash cans, and if we can do anything with the Encore or AT&T guys or anything, if there's anything, I'm sure y'all have been in contact. I saw a lot of that. And what's the legal? You're supposed to have, most of those lines are supposed to be 12 or 14 foot up.
I can't speak to that, but we've asked, and we've encouraged cards, if they run across those, pass them on to me, because I do have contacts with AT&T, Encore, and
I think legally they're
Optimum.
supposed to be that tall, because if there was areas where, you know, they had AT&T, I think they were internet lines, I'm picking on AT&T or whoever was the provider, and of course they were a foot above my pickup, and if a fire truck come through there in a hurry, or an ambulance for that matter, obviously a fire or a trash truck too, it just, so there's a lot of that stuff out there, and not anything the city, it's not the city's deal, it's not the trash deal, it's another vendor that we need to, I don't know if there's some kind of alternative way we could communicate with them to make them understand we've got full-size trucks coming through there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, once we know locations, I know I witnessed one where the guys, they pulled up and the line was a foot below the top of their truck, and so they had to back up and go around. So yeah, so as y'all run across those, please let my office know, and we'll communicate that with our liaisons, try to get those things pulled up.
Yeah, and like I said, we had an issue with a gentleman that won on Saturday, and they called, and I said, it's in the system, it's, you know, there's a lot of people, and thank y'all for getting that done on Saturday, but we'll have those. But I think maybe in the next couple weeks, even the group that was here earlier, maybe that'll be sorted out, because like I said, not everything's cookie cutter, unfortunately.
Right. Well, for there to be that few people show up for the first week, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you just look at the odds, maybe. But I know that we're invested in making sure that we minimize that to none. Our goal is for 100% satisfaction, the best that we can. We know that we're human, we're going to make mistakes, but we'll make sure that we're present and accountable to make sure we fix those if they come up, when they come up.
I appreciate all the help and all the late nights. I know it's tough getting rolling, so appreciate it very much.
We appreciate you guys. We knew ahead of time that this would be an overtaken, and we understand that. We're staffed to handle it. We do have quite a few staff. I mean, staffing is not a problem at all for us right now. It's just making sure we train them the way that we do things, and then also how we run through the streets here in Paris. So we'll get it, for sure.
A couple of weeks ago, I was having a meeting with City Manager, Mr. Path, and I asked that we see if we could schedule here to come and just give us an update of where we are. We knew the first week was going to be challenging. Last Thursday, about 10:30 in my neighborhood, on 5th and Tudor, there was 3 trucks running through that area trying to make sure they were meeting the deadline for the evening. So we certainly appreciate you extending the hours to do your best to get the trash picked up. And I was able to speak to one of the gentlemen that was driving the truck, and he was explaining to me, he said, you about bulk pickup.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I understand the process. I'm the mayor of the city of Paris, and he liked that. And he just got excited about it, but I just went out there to thank him, because at 10:30 at night and you're still running trucks, that's pretty impressive. So we thank you for that, and it'll level itself out eventually. So we appreciate that. I did have some questions you answered about bulk pickup, but the extra trash cans, I mean, a lot of citizens, I've also noticed that they have their extra trash cans on the side of the cards trash cans, and I know that could be a liability. A $10 trash can could turn into a $500 trash can very easily.
Yeah, especially if it's sentimental in
Yes,
some capacity.
exactly.
We definitely want to encourage people, and we're noticing a lot more this week, and we'll start to educate with stickers to allow them to understand that we want them to use our cart for that second container. The bulk is not really there for an overflow of extra trash bags. That's what the carts are for. Our goal is for that bulk to be what it is, bulk, our yard waste. We want to really make sure that our focus is on You know, I joke about this all the time, but there's a lot of people out there that are really good at trash Jenga. They stack those extra bags on top of the carts.
Right.
And just kind of like, it's still there. They'll take it. So we'll educate as we go. We'll do some more burst on social media to let people understand what the correct process is, and to where it not only helps us, but also helps the city, because if, you know, we want to, you know, right now we're averaging about 65 seconds per stop, and we want to get it down to around 35 seconds per stop, because there's a lot of extra out there right now, and we understand that. We knew that coming into it, so it'll get better as we go each week. We really know that. So, but we will start to educate more on that, Mayor, and make sure that people understand, you know, that extra trash needs to go in an extra cart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
There's no action required. This was a presentation only. Item number 13, discuss and continue the public hearing and act on the ordinance regarding the petition of the City of Paris, Texas to update the subdivision regulations, specifically to amend Exhibit 9A subdivision ordinance for preliminary final plating and general requirements thoroughfare plan.
Mr.
Morning,
Mayor,
sir.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, thank you so much for meeting with us today. I'm here to talk about a slight change to the subdivision ordinance where plating is discussed and the master thoroughfare plan. Last year, the Texas legislature enacted House Bill 3699, which took effect to make several amendments to Chapter 212 of the Texas Local Government Code. Part of this was restrictions on when a municipality may require a developer to dedicate rights-of-way for future roads and streets. Right-of-way dedications are currently included in the master thoroughfare plan. The first portion of the subdivision ordinance's revisions were presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission on November 6, 2023, and to the council on November 13, 2023, and received unanimous approval. The agenda for the December 11th, 2023 City Council meeting included a public hearing for the second portion of the revisions to the subdivision ordinance. Staff identified additional time was necessary to accurately present a revised ordinance and requested the public hearing remain open until today. City Council unanimously approved to request to keep the public hearing open. The attached amendments in your packet are the proposed amendments to the subdivision ordinance that pertain to the master thoroughfare plan only. The city attorney and the engineering department have reviewed the preliminary and final plating and the master thoroughfare plan sections of the subdivision ordinance, section 9A. Following review, the staff determined and preliminary and final plat sections of the subdivision ordinance are in compliance, but revision to section 8, general requirements, thoroughfare plan, is necessary to comply with House Bill 3699. The revised subdivision ordinance attached to this memorandum clarifies dedication of rights-of-way are limited to existing streets, and the city shall not require dedications for future streets unless intended by the owner. Dedications must be an approved and funded portion of a capital improvement plan, and construction specifications are still applicable for street and roadways in both existing and future streets. The Planning and Zoning Commission conducted a public hearing concerning the attached revisions to the subdivision ordinance at their meeting last week and unanimously approved them as presented. I will read to you the section of the revised ordinance that overall it's pretty simple, but we clarify and abbreviate the master thoroughfare plan to be called the MTP in this, and we also call out, this is the main crux of the change, and this is brand new, it was not in the subdivision ordinance before. The city shall not require the dedication of land within a subdivision for a future street or alley unless such future streets or alley is intended by the owner of the tract and is included, funded, and is approved in a capital improvement plan adopted by the city or a similar plan adopted by Lamar County, Texas. So I'd love to hear any questions you might have about this.
Any questions? All right, we'll continue the public hearing and ask for anyone wishing to speak about this item to please come forward and state your name and address for the record. I see none, I will now close the public hearing. Is there any further discussion? If not, I will hear a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, sir. Item number 14, discuss and act on a change order number 2 with Lloyd D. Neighbors demolition of the Belford demolition project, decreasing the contract amount by $86,850 and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents. Mr. Pass.
Yes, I'm going to turn over to Todd. As you know, we've been working on the Belford building for some time. We have the background information there about how we got this point. As you know, it is on the ground, or it's actually gone now, so we're glad to see that. And we had a change order 1 back a few weeks ago for the Stars and Chains. We approved that, and now we have change order 2, which thankfully is a reduction in cost. And so Todd is here to kind of discuss briefly the changes for change order 2. Todd?
Thank you, Grayson. Overall, when demolition was occurring, the north wall that is closest to South Main Iron was very strong and sturdy and didn't come down. And we saw no reason to go through with the original plan of keeping or demolishing it, using the brick, and having them rebuild the wall. We saw it as an opportunity to save some money. Thank you, Violet. Good job. And so, through some negotiation, instead of the $94,800 for the, thank you, sweetheart, and the $94,500, I believe, actually. Yes, $94,000 to retain the wall and to rebuild, or demolish the wall and rebuild. We decided to modify their construction practices, deconstruction practices a little bit, and they were able to close cut and chip off the bricks nice and flat on the top, keep the historic wall that I believe is circa 1916, 1917, and save all that money. So overall, the decrease was $86,850 in the contract amount, which is about 14.4% lower than the current contract amount of $601,500. So we would like to get your approval to change that.
Is there any discussion?
There was some talk about waterproofing that, and I guess the dirt was kind of sloped off. Tell us about the time frame for that and the process that's in place.
Good question. So in the deconstruction of the area around it, the area by the wall, hey Violet, would you like me to hold you? Why don't you go sit with Sissy, okay? Go sit with Della. Sorry about that.
You're all right.
So the mortar around the bricks that are below ground level, and you can kind of see the indentations in the brick where the old floor beams came across, none of that has seen moisture in its existence, 110 years or so. So just out of an abundance of caution, we decided to waterproof that so that when soil is up above it, when soil comes back through and touches it, in the possibility that in 40, 50 years, some of that mortar would start to crumble a little bit. So what we're going to do, when weather is solid and we sure we have good curing time on a liquid waterproofing membrane, which being in the wintertime, we have some unexpected storms sometimes and cold weather, and you need to have good hot weather. I think it's 50 degrees and rising for most of the liquid membranes that I'm familiar with. So we're going to wait till spring and either contract that out or maybe use some city forces to waterproof that. And also, we left a little road down there so that we can have a small core driller come and core 2-inch drains every 10 feet along that wall, and then put a copper mesh along it and a horizontal drain as well, so that any water that does come under there can just go right back through to the existing lot to the north. So we're waiting for some good weather. So we have it fenced off, and I believe the temporary fence is coming down pretty soon, and then we'll be able to hand that back over to the owner of the property. We purchased the building, but the owner of the property, South Main Acquisitions, I believe, is the ones who own that.
Is there any other discussion? All right, I hear a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, sir. Item number 15, discuss and appoint one member to fill the vacant position on the Main Street Advisory Board. Ms. Ellis?
Okay, Katrina Mitchell was appointed to the Main Street Advisory Board this past June. She has since had to resign. leaving one vacancy on the board. Staff advertised through local media and our city website. We've received 3 applications. They're from Harley Draven, Kim Kalina, and Melissa Jones. I handed out the ballots a few minutes ago, and you all have handed those out, and they've been scored. The person receiving the most points is Melissa Jones, so we will need a motion to appoint her to the Main Street Board.
Okay, will I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Melissa Jones to the Main Street Board.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 4-0. All right, item number 16, consider and approve future events of the city council and/or city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081. Does anyone have anything? All right, item number 17, I will hear a motion and a second for adjournment.
So move. I'll second.
Adjourn.